Hello, my name is Bobby Benson, aka Serendipitously Bobby, and welcome to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. Sorry, I'm running behind today. We had little technical difficulties, but I am so excited, guys, about tonight. We have a special guest, Mr. Dominique Waltower, domestic violence prevention advocate. So, hey, welcome, Dominique. Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Thank you for agreeing to be on the show. And guys, he is in sunny California, so I wish.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm just call you Dom through the whole thing, okay? So Dom, can you share with us? I did share that you're a domestic violence prevention advocate. Just share with us a little bit more about you.
I am a domestic violence advocate, and the way that I became a domestic violence advocate is somewhat of a story. I grew up in a home where domestic violence was prevalent. I adopted some of those toxic behaviors from my childhood, and I actually became abusive myself as an adult. So when I got married, a lot of my behaviors, which I learned in childhood, started to come out. So that includes any and all types of abuse. We're talking physical, mental, emotional abuse. That in which again, it was a norm for me in my childhood, and so it was something that it was almost a natural thing. It was normal for me to implement what I learned in my childhood in my marriage, and so after the marriage ended, there was a period of reflection for me where I started to do some work on myself to figure out what happened to me because I recognized that I was not a healthy person and I wanted to become a healthy person. So I started doing that work. I started doing counseling and therapy. I did that for about 3.5 years to figure out what was going on with me. And then after that journey of healing and repair, I just had this overwhelming need to try to help other people through this process. So that's how I became an advocate. And I work in the prevention and the intervention realm. So I do a lot of work with the military. I do civilian populations as well. I work with the court systems, and I also work with those people who have been convicted of domestic violence, and helping them to change and to actually implement real change in their lives. So there's a lot more to the story, but I'll just leave it there in a nutshell. That's who I am.
Okay, well, thank you. That was good enough. So let me ask you this. So you said on your, because I like to talk about healing and all that stuff. You said you did therapy. Did you do any work to like heal those relationships that were broken from the behaviors that you had before your healing?
Well, it wasn't. See that, and that's one thing that for people that cause harm, I think it's important for them to find the motivation to heal outside of the relationship. It's not about healing the relationship. It's about you healing what's in you first.
Mhm.
Now, if that happens to, and then once you heal yourself, then you can start focusing on the relationship. Far too many people that are abusers, we use the term those who cause harm abusers, we use those terms interchangeably. Far too many of those people will start the process of healing and it will be for that person, for my marriage, for my relationship. And it's like, okay, I mean, if that's what gets you there, that's fine, but it's not a solid motivation for change. Because what if that person leaves you? Are you going to still heal? So
Mhm.
your healing motivation should be something that comes from within you. You should know enough about yourself to say, okay, look, I have some issues I need to heal, regardless of whether or not this relationship it makes it or not. Oftentimes, the Abusers will make it about the relationship because the relationship is their arena of control.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be a time where you're just focused on yourself. And so in my journey of healing, it was really about me. My relationship ended. My wife left, and then I was left there with myself. And I said, okay, I got to fix me. And I remember going to these different places, and even the counselors thought, it was like, you're not doing this for your relationship? Like, look, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but whether something happens or not, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether I'm in this, if I'm not in that relationship, chances are I'll be in a relationship another day. And so, you know, at some point in time, so I don't want to go into another relationship with the same formula that I went into this one. So for me, you know, again, one can start at that level of I'm doing it for my kids, I'm doing it for my relationship, but it should be for you eventually. I mean, and the true change comes from when it is. So when we talk about motivation for change, there's intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is where you are motivated. It's like if you're motivated to go to school, or you're motivated to start a business, or you were motivated to start this podcast. No one had to push you or tell you to do any of those things. It's intrinsic. You want to do this. Or if there's some other motivation for, well, someone telling you you have to change or you have to do this, that's different. You know, that's extrinsic. It's like when people are when they have to change and the courts tell them, they say you have to change. That's extrinsic motivation. And extrinsic motivation only goes so far. So if I'm doing it for my marriage, it only goes so far. You know, it only goes so far. Do it for you, and then the marriage will automatically benefit. You know, your kids will benefit. You know, everyone will benefit, you know, if you do it for you.
Yes, you are passionate about that one.
Heck yeah. I'd talk all day on that. Don't give me, I have to stop myself. I'm like, all right, land the plane, land the plane.
It's okay. It's okay. I get passionate too. It is okay. So, okay. You and I, we had a brief conversation when we first talked about coming on the show.
Right.
And we talked about, so the different types of ways people are become batterers. Like you were talking about people who, like, you grew up in a home. It wasn't per se that you grew up in a home where it was like a male chauvinistic power control male rule. It was, you grew up in a home where your mother was the person. So you grew up with watching it, and that's how you learned that behavior instead of it becoming just a this is a man's world. This was more like this is just this dysfunction I grew up in. So can you share more about the differences and what you see when people like grow up just in that trauma, and when other people just have their mind fixated on power and control, and you know, that the differences between the batterers?
And so again, growing up in my home, the learning the behavior from my mother, and I don't blame my mother. This is not to throw her under the bus. You know, my mother had a lot of trauma herself, so I look at her through the lens of empathy. I learned to react. I learned to react. I watched her react, and I learned to react. That's what I learned. And then on top of that, I have society who teaches me that as a male, it teaches me to have misogyny, to be chauvinistic, to be, you know, sexism and patriarchy. It teaches me all of those things to be in charge all the time. And so I'm conditioned in my home, and I'm conditioned by society. And it's like, okay, my home was the first place I learned it. And then society just implemented it. It was like, oh, okay, cool. This is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to do. My neighborhood also confirmed that this is how you're supposed to do. You know, so there is a difference in growing up that way. If you grow up that way, you know, I saw it from my mom, but then there are homes where you grow up and then there's a chauvinistic parent. You know, there's a chauvinistic father who is also passing it down. It can be passed down by any means. You know, it can be a woman who's passing it down. It could be a man. People underestimate. All of us know about the impact of toxic fathers. You know, but not enough conversation is had about moms who have toxicity. And there's a lot of people who are experiencing that now. There's a lot of children who have cut off their mothers or fathers, or, you know, and this is not a male or female issue. It's just people.
Yeah.
We all have it. None of us are better than the other. All of us have toxicity. There are people who can apologize. There are people who have trauma. There are people who transfer that trauma, and it can come from either direction. But the key is to recognize that you have that trauma and to do something about it. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It just matters that, hey, I have some trauma, and a lot of times our trauma will spill onto other people. You
Yep.
know, I didn't mean to hurt my family. You know, I didn't mean to do that. But nonetheless, that's what happened.
So I'm glad you said that because there's so many podcasts out here. It's like, when people, they spend time bashing each other, and all of these podcasts, they're like, it's the women. What is it? The women hate the men hate the women, but it's actually, like you said, it's just unhealed people inflicting pain on each other, and people not being accountable for what they've done. And me being a woman, I'm gonna say this: it was a time in my life where it was hard for me to apologize because I wasn't always the person I am today. So I'm a
Right,
survivor of domestic violence, and
right,
but I also had to look at the role that I played. Like, there was nothing I could have done for them to abuse me, but there
right.
were things I did within the relationship that I know, being spiteful or vengeful, that I hurt my mate. So it's like, as I healed, I actually, like, I've been on my own for like almost 5 years now. So, but in that time, you're right, you have to be alone. And in that time, um, I was able to work on me, but I was also able to um like forgive the people who hurt me, and like, we forgave each other and we made amends. And like, never in a million years I thought me and the father of my children would get along, and we get along great now, but it was, rough. But so just taking accountability, even like, I had to look at myself, like, I looked past red flags getting in these unhealthy relationships, and that had me go deep dive into like my trauma. So I had to go peel back the layers of the onion to look at myself and say, what do I need to change? And in changing myself, and people seeing that I move and act differently, that prompted some
Hmm.
people to look at themselves and make some changes too. So I'm glad you said men and women, because a lot of women be like, it's all his fault. Girl, it's your fault too.
Well,
So,
and for me, when I speak about accountability, so you have both genders. You have what I call gender warriors, and
mhm,
so I think you reach a place of wisdom when you're able to see the world from the other gender's perspective.
mhm,
I know I can see it from a man's perspective, of course, duh. But the
mhm,
empathy for a woman allows me to see it from your perspective too. So that's the part that we're missing. We only see it from our side. We only see, and if we're like that, we are missing a whole other side of the spectrum. And so I
yeah,
want to understand what it's like for a victim of domestic violence. What do women deal with? What do they go through? Why do they stay? And so that's why I do the work that I do. I do understand it now. I do understand. So when we talk about, abuse from men, I don't get defensive. You're right. It happens all the time because I'm not a gender warrior and I don't need my gender to win. I just want the
mhm,
truth to be out there, and the truth is gonna set us all free. So when we talk about
mhm,
accountability, men have to be accountable for our behaviors. Women have to be accountable for our behaviors. There's a running joke in the male community that women don't accept accountability.
mhm,
It's a running joke. They won't apologize. It's a running joke. We all know it. Like, nah,
mhm,
you'll be lucky to get an apology. And then, and you all have your running jokes about men, about who we are and what we, and it's like, there's some truth to them too, you know? And so for me, I would like to get to the truth of it. Like, why can't we apologize?
mhm,
Why can't we apologize to each other? Why, as a man, do I feel it hard to, when my woman holds me accountable, I feel it hard to be accountable to her. Why?
mhm,
But and then in the same breath, I'll say I love you and I want to be with you. I'm like, oh, do you? How bad do you
mhm.
want that? And then what is your definition of love? Because if your definition of love includes not apologizing, gaslighting, manipulating, lying, abuse, then that's not love.
Exactly.
That's not love, and it doesn't matter what side it comes from. I don't care which side. Anybody, if any, I have this rule since I've gone through my healing journey. If anyone tells me that they love me, but it's lacking compassion, empathy, care, concern, consideration, humility, I don't, I don't receive that as love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not love. Like love, love doesn't come a la carte as a word. It has to be accompanied by those other things. And so
Yes.
far too often we have taken it, you know, we take the word love a la carte. And it's like, no, no, no. Wait, there's no empathy with that. There's no compassion. There's no apologies. There's no humility. There's no consideration, care. Oh yeah, yeah. No, you mean a different word. Don't use the love word. Let's just be clear. Quit
What? You
playing.
ain't lust.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There it is. There it
But you
is.
know what? People do that though. It's like those hard conversations. I think in relationships, like I'm about to chase a squirrel, sorry, but those in relationships, what I've learned since I've been on my healing journey is that have those hard conversations up front. Like, what does love look like to you? And I'm sorry, I'm the type, look at Diamond, hey girl. So I'm the type that's like up front, we having dinner on the first date because I'm almost 50. I don't have time to waste sitting like in 2 years. Well, next year I'll be 50. I don't have time to
Right.
waste having 50. Well, we could talk on the telephone actually and have these hard conversations. And then I don't have to waste my time trying to get cute to go out. And you don't have to waste your money paying for a dinner because we had the hard conversation over the phone. And then I realized
Mm-hmm.
you're an asshole and I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good. That's good.
I'm just saying.
But you're right about having hard conversations about being speaking and being honest about who we are. But that's the trick in this world of dating or relationships. It's like we don't find out who people are until we're fully invested. You know, because we fast track these relationships. You know, we got pressure from, you know, society, or my clock's ticking, or like you said, I'm not, I don't have time, so there's pressure to get it, you know, faster. And so there's pressure from, hey, we might be in church and they, oh, you know, you can't be shaking up, right? You know, we might be whatever that we may be, pressure from parents. I was just talking to somebody about this, parents who said, you guys need to get married, you need to have kids, and we may not necessarily be ready for that. Now that's
Mhm.
something, because you're talking about a lifelong commitment. I need to know who you are. I need to do my due diligence. That don't happen after 6 months.
Uh,
You know, or even a year ain't enough for me. I need more time. If I'm spending the rest of my life, I'm going to invest a significant amount of my time finding out who you are and if this is a match. You know,
mhm.
but there's a lot of rushing, and then we're not having those conversations like you said, but we should.
Yeah, and what I realized, like hearing people talk, I know you're in the I kind of was so I'm going to be nosy about my guests. So I listen to some of your things, and so I know you're in the helping profession too. So I do the helping profession in my day job. I'm a juvenile probation officer. So the families that I help, I do a mental health court, and the families that I help, I hear a lot of um, unhealed conversations and their view on love and things like that, and
Hmm.
it it breaks my heart for one, and I can't save everybody. But their version of love and the reasons why they do the things they do, and even like for myself and some of my friends and things, the reason why we do what we do, it's like people don't want to be alone, so they settle. They settle because they don't want to be alone. But they don't understand that that alone time is the best time. I have enjoyed the past 5 years. So, people don't think about that. They don't want to be alone. And for one, it's painful if you have not healed to be alone with yourself, your thoughts, all the shame and guilt, and all of the negative thoughts running through your head from all the stuff you've done. Yes, I do help everybody, Toya. Thank you. But people are in the chat.
I see him. I see him.
But it's like people are afraid to be alone. And then I'm gonna jump on this one. As far as what love looks like too, a lot of people think that material things equal love and equal value. And it sickens me the way people think, well, a lot of women think, oh, because he does not have money, he's not this, that, and the other. I'll take a man that'll treat me right over somebody with some money. And
Hello.
people don't think about that. They're so concerned about a fucking purse. Like what? Because he took you to what's that one Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, I like the caramel cheesecake. Yes, let's go. Like damn. So it's like stuff like that, but they think that's love. Or bro, you got a good man because he got a good job. No, he's a dickhead. No, he's not. So things like that just burn my muffins.
I agree with you. You know, there's a lot of people who are acting from their trauma. So people that, you know, the material people, a lot of times, you know, they grew up, they didn't have, and they were in survival mode. So materials become value. You know, my value is significant because you spent $300, and then they don't know how to actually have real value in the relationship because everything has to be this motion of money. You know, and it shouldn't be that way. Callie Moss says, I want to read this. People like to romanticize love, but don't want to know what the truth of love is. Pressure on women to settle in marriage by a certain age, and being alone forces you to deal with you and then do the work. And I just wanted to read the comments real quick, but I want to mention what you said about being alone. Alone time should be the time where you're healing your traumas. You're healing yourself. You know, people are like, I don't want to be alone, but it's hard work to work on yourself. It took me, like I said, about 3.5 years to work on me, and that was alone time. I didn't have a relationship, you know, and it was hard. It got lonely, and it was like, but I already knew if I get in a relationship, I'm gonna mess it up. I don't know how to relationship clearly, like so. You know, I don't want to. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to somebody else and tell them, yeah, I'm the best thing in sliced bread. No, I'm the worst thing since sliced bread. You know, at this point, I will fuck your life up if you let me. Like, don't. But I ain't gonna tell you that. You know, when you meet people, if you are at a level of healing, you will be able to decipher their trauma. You can see it. The reason we keep going into these relationships is because we don't recognize the trauma. We don't understand. We don't know the signs. We just think, oh, and then we're being led by survival. I have to get married. I have to settle, or I need to, you know, they're gonna buy me this bag, or she's gonna do this for me or do that for me. So we're entering relationships from survival mode and wondering why they're not lasting. You know, it's like, you know, I know that about myself. Like I know ever since I went through my healing journey, and it always continues, by the way.
Yep.
When I see people that approach me, and I know the scent of trauma. I know the scent. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, got it. Wait, hold on. It might have been something. Okay, got you. Cool.
Is that trauma you're wearing?
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't say that to be condescending or put people down. But what I'm saying is that people that are in trauma don't even know they're in trauma because they don't have a level of awareness to understand what they're doing. They just repeat the same pattern, the same pattern. This not, you know, there's one thing I was talking about on my live, and then people were like, yeah, I have, you know, my ex-husband or ex-wife or whoever. They were talking about a string of relationships that they had, and they were talking about how they were all toxic. And I said, well, there's one common denominator in all those relationships. I'm not a mathematician. There's one common denominator. That would be you.
Yep.
Why are you choosing, allowing, and then entering and participating in this? If it's so horrible, what is it that's in you that resonates with that? Is it desperation? Is it afraid of being alone? Is it that you have to be validated by a relationship? You need to find out what that is. And it's not a blame thing, but it's just understanding what vibration are you giving off? What's your frequency? Because you're giving off toxic frequency, and then you know, and again, if you're giving off that trauma scent, toxic narcissistic people they're like, oh yeah, right over there, they're over there.
Blood in the water.
And they know. Listen, toxic people, narcissistic people, they know about your low self-esteem. They know you will tolerate everything. You will tolerate their mess because of, again, loneliness. You'll tolerate it because you don't want to be divorced. And I ain't trying to go there for anybody. You'll tolerate it because of your religion. Your religion will tell you to tolerate it and be like, oh, God said, no, God didn't say that. That's you. That's your stuff. That's you. That's don't be trying to add God to that. God did not co-sign that. That's
Yes.
your stuff. That is
Mhm.
your stuff. And so in domestic violence, we work with people, and there's a whole realm of spiritual abuse that happens, where abusers will manipulate with scriptures or their spirituality. They'll manipulate people with that. So that's another big
Mhm.
deal.
That right there is, I'm gonna actually do a show on that. I'm more spiritual than religious. At one point in my life, I was religious. But I
Same
have
here.
since, I have once, I've changed my ways. But I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up doing a show about that. Because
Okay.
I've watched so many women. Oh my God! Some women have been sexually abused, and it's justified because of, you know, you married and you supposed to have sex with your husband. It's rape if you're doing it, and she says no. And then you have pastors using the word to control people and manipulate and do other little things. So I'm gonna do a show on that. When she said, "Woo, that spiritual manipulation goes deep." Yes, it does, and that's the thing. When I've learned this too, it's my squirrel, sorry, but like with church, it's like I watch women follow after people, pastors that I know aren't right, because instead of them searching from within and trying to build a relationship with Christ, they're running after this man that someone lust after, running after this man to save them instead of Christ. So they've made this pastor their Jesus and their God. And that right there, that is sickening to me. But those narcissistic pastors, they feed off of it, feeding their egos. So what you say?
They know it.
What you say? I'm a dude, and I did just like when the niggas sit down. Oh, she talking about her ex husband.
Not disciplined women. And that, again, those, when you talk about that, I remember watching this video on, there's a video on social media, and there's a married couple, and they brought their kid to this Catholic priest for baptism. And they're there, and the Catholic priest, he's like 90 or 85, he's old. And then he's holding the baby, and the baby starts crying, and he slaps the baby. He
I saw
slaps
that.
he's and did you see the reaction of the parent? They didn't know what to do. You see what religion will stop? Your kid's being abused, and
Yes.
religion stopped you from stopping your kid from being abused.
Yeah.
And then finally the father jumps in and grabs the baby. And I'm thinking, and I said, that is such a powerful, powerful metaphor on how, if it's not, and I'm not saying religion is all bad. I'm not casting
Mm-hmm.
dispersions on anybody's belief. Believe what you believe. But
Mm-hmm.
if your religion is causing, or your spirituality is causing you to accept abuse, that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem. That part, if there's any type of religious or spiritual belief that tells me I have to accept abuse and then mistreat other people, I will drop that religion or spirituality. That's how my morality works. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. I won't do it because I know I'm valuable. I'm more valuable than that.
Yep.
Um, but and it's like I said, there are certain churches and certain pastors and certain spiritual bends that are on top of this. And I commend them for speaking about this. But then there's other ones that are just, they feed into it.
Yep.
And biblically, I know the Bible. I'm very much like you. I grew up in church, and there's a lot of misogyny in the Bible. A
Yep.
lot of it. A lot of misogyny and patriarchy in the Bible. Now, as a man, it's because I'm not a gender warrior, I can say that. I
Yep.
can say that. I don't need us to win. We can call truth truth.
Yep.
And it's like there's a lot of misogyny in the Bible that that I looked at, and a lot of that was and I was using that when in my abusive days. I had my scriptures lined up.
Which one did you use?
I'm like, hey, you know what? John such and such says you supposed to do this. Matthew such and such says you supposed to. And I'm sitting here and I think back on it now, and it's just like, dang, that version of me, that low vibrational, low frequency version of me, that's how I operated. And I'm so grateful now to not operate in that space, to where and I just tell people all the time to make sure that you are loving and valuing yourself. Because if you're a created being on this planet, you were created to not to be abused and beaten. And where did we go wrong into thinking into equating love with abuse? Like where did we go wrong?
Oh, but
You know?
okay, so remember this. Remember growing up, like they would tell girls, oh, if he hits you, he likes you. So we're telling girls already that if he hits you, he likes you. So if he's hitting me, he loves me as an adult. So it's like
Yeah.
the crazy shit that they teach us as
Yeah.
kids. Like, no,
Yeah.
I told my daughter, you better beat his ass back. He don't like you.
Yeah, and that, you know, Ray Monique says, or you have to pray over and forgive every offense. That was another thing that will come up when abusers, when people that are toxic or abusive, they will use their spirituality or their scripture. So they'll tell you that you're supposed to forgive. And it's like, okay, but the onus is on you. And like, well, where was your spirituality or religion when you were doing that act to stop you from doing it?
Exactly.
So it only applies to me? Like, it only applies to me. Because you keep throwing this forgiveness scripture at me, but I don't see the scripture that stops you from doing the offense. Where's yours?
Exactly.
You know, where's yours? And that's where you understand you're being manipulated. And forgiveness is a decision that you would make anyway. It's not up to them. You can't solicit forgiveness from a person. Say, you got to forgive me. You know, the Bible says you got to forgive me. Yeah, I know I cheated 12 times, but you know, the Bible says 70 times 7. So I got a lot more to go. Man, come on. Quit playing. We quit playing. Smokey, quit playing. We
Oh God. But
this world is, I do believe that we sometimes over spiritualize situations that are very practical.
yes.
That ain't God, it ain't the devil, that's your decisions.
Yes.
That's your
She loves that.
decisions.
Yes. That's the thing. People like, God gonna get you. No, God gonna get you. You know, I can't stand that. You doing wrong, or because you feel you're wrong, you feel like God is gonna punish them. God loves them just as much as he loves you. And people don't get that. They're like, he's gonna strike you down, he's gonna strike you down because you even thought that stupid mess. Like, it's yeah. But let's
And
not
I think about this too. If you have the power of the creator of the universe at your disposal, you want revenge? That's your request? You got everything in this universe, you know, at your disposal. How about praying to God that that person actually heals and they actually become a better individual? How about instead of them
like
being,
that.
instead of vengeance, instead, I don't want, and that, you mentioned this earlier, you said the forgiveness, you went through a part of forgiveness. I think that is a very, very necessary piece of our lives, no matter what's happened, going through an inventory of people that we need to forgive. Because when you don't forgive people, you are still holding space for that person.
Yeah.
So if you think of space like your phone, it's 125 gigs, 164 gigs, whatever. And then when you run out of space, your phone stops operating. So we are holding unforgiveness and we stop operating emotionally the way that we need to. When you clear space, you forgive them, you clear that space. And now guess what? The space can be filled with something better.
Yes.
It can be filled with something better. But the forgiveness is a huge part of it. And forgiving spouses, exes, forgiving parents, forgiving, you know, now that does not mean when you forgive them that you give them access to you again, because some people are not safe. I can forgive you and be like, blessings on you. I will say that all the time. Blessings on you. Blessings on you. You know, that means you stay over there. I forgive you. I release you from the debt. Yeah, you ain't got to steal. It's $99. But I release that. I release you from any debt that I feel that you owe me. And I genuinely wish you well, because people talk about forgiveness for ourselves. Like, it's for me, it's for me. When you get to advanced forgiveness, you'll forgive for them too.
Yep.
I want you to be better. I want you to be. I don't want you to, you know what? I understand that the reason that you hurt me so bad is because you are broken yourself.
Yes.
And I hope that you get better. And if not, then you'll just have to keep going through this life the way that you're going through it. And forgive yourself, Monique says. That's true. You know, forgive. And yeah, there's people that feel like they don't deserve forgiveness, and I always ask them, so what level of heathen are you to where you don't? Like, I mean, which part are you? Like, how much more heathenly are you than the rest of us?
But that
We
goes
all
back
deserve
to
that.
accountability. You said it. Nobody wants to be accountable. So that goes back to if
True.
I am, if I'm gonna forgive you and I'm gonna, move forward, that means I gotta, check myself too. And accountability is a big thing, and that is a big part of healing. If you leave that piece out, you'll still be repeating the cycle
Mm.
because you let that is such a great piece. You have to become accountable. I got a whole journal I'm gonna publish it soon about accountability. And
Hmm.
I had my best friend read it. She said that stings. And I said, yeah, that's how you heal. That's how
It
you
should
heal.
sting. It
Yeah.
should sting. You know the sting. You know the sting that your friend's talking about. And I talk about this with the men that I work with. I said that I said it burns. I say it burns, and I said the burn, it won't kill you, but it will
Hmm.
change you.
Yes.
Let it burn. You know how the stuff you used to put in your hair? I forgot what it was. They said
A
let it burn.
part.
Just let it. Yeah, yeah. Let it burn. Let it burn. Let it burn for a little bit. Let it burn so you can get what you want. But it's supposed to burn so that you feel it. It's all very much the hot stove. Touch it. It hurt. I'm not doing that again. So we avoid that burn. We don't want to feel that the burn of accountability. But I'll tell you, the burn of accountability leads to your healing.
Hmm.
When you're able to, and then accountability is a superpower because look at your life now. You said I took
Hmm.
accountability of my life. I love my life as you do yours. Life is
Hmm.
good when you are able to be accountable for it because that means you have power and control over your life. I choose who's in my circle. I
Yes.
choose what type of relationships I have. I choose my attitude and my energy. I choose to have peace, love, gratitude, kindness, compassion, empathy. I choose that.
Yes.
And that all came from me being accountable and not hiding from my demons.
Yep. Well, you bring yourself into alignment. So I don't know if you know about Carl Jung and like doing the shadow work and stuff and bringing yourself into alignment. And that's something I really had to work on with myself. And everybody, like all the girls in the chat, those my girls.
I
So,
see you.
but I tell you, I got the best friends. But anyway,
I see you.
um, we're always they're all advocates and stuff too. That's all I roll with people like me.
Good
But
on y'all.
anyway,
Good on y'all.
they were excited about watching you tonight. So
Hmm.
they were like, "Yeah, we're watching." But I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry.
Uh, you were okay. Wait, let me see. What were we?
What was I saying?
I was in the comments. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
go
forget
to
it.
another
He
comment.
said that was good, Bobby. I'm glad I tuned in. I love the conversation. Hope you keep it going. Thank you, Ray.
We were
Thank
talking about
you.
the accountability piece, and then how that's necessary. And you said you had something you're about to publish, about that,
Oh,
about being
we'll talk about
accountable.
shadow work.
Oh, shout out, there you go.
Yeah. But I forgot my thoughts with shadow work. But anyway,
But
with shadow work,
it's
you have to bring
necessary.
yourself
What you're
into
talking about,
alignment. Would you say?
shadow work, and working on your the not so good qualities about you, but you have
Yeah.
to acknowledge them first. And I want to say this: all of us have not so good qualities. All of us do. But are you willing to acknowledge them? The elephant in the room. But
Hmm.
like my uncle said, that's why they put erasers on pencils because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's got, everyone is prone to doing things that we don't like. But are you willing to work on them? And do you see the benefit of working on them?
Yep.
You know the
Hmm.
benefit. I know it.
Hmm.
We need everybody, and everybody in the comments, they clearly know it. Your friends, your squad, they know it. you know, but we need to make sure everybody, there are benefits. The benefits, walking in gratitude, being in peace, loving life.
Yes.
How many people actually love their lives?
Not a lot.
How many are happy? How many have joy? And I'm not saying, I'm not just saying, it's different and you said the word alignment. When you are in alignment, that means everything that in your life has to be in flow with you. If it's
Yes.
not in flow with you, we don't do it.
Hmm.
You know, relationships, you're like, oh, he cute or she fine. I don't care. She not in alignment. He not in alignment.
She crazy.
I don't
No.
care. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's out of alignment. That's how
Yep.
you ain't taking your medication. No, we good. You stay over there. You stay over
But
there.
I got my thought back. So what I was
Okay.
saying with the shadow work is that people, they wear their mask because of the things, the way we are in the dark or with our family, we don't want the world to see. So we do have being alone helps bring that into alignment. Being by yourself. So there's part, and I've learned this, my, part of me is going to heal by myself. I'm going to work through all that trauma from my childhood. And then eventually, God is going to see fit to align me with somebody on the same vibration, that's on going on the same path. We're going to connect, and then we're going to start working on that next part that you can only heal within a relationship. And you know that you have healed once you get in that relationship and you're responding differently. You're doing things differently. And the person you're with is totally different than who you had before. They're healthy,
Mm-hmm.
you're healthy. When I was in school, my
Mm-hmm.
teacher told me one time, she said, unhealthy people do not deal with unhealthy people. So if you are
That
dealing with
part.
unhealthy people in your life, you got some work to do. And I was like, dang, convicted. Let me just drop this class. So, I mean, that was like years ago. But I get it now. I get it. And like I said, I'm damn near 50 years old. I get it. And it's like, hey, man, girl, yes, Callie. But it's like now I love my life. Like my girl say, you ain't gonna date, drink, or whatever. I'm good. I'm focused on building my business, my empire of podcasts. So uh, it's not my thing. God gonna give me that when it's time. Like now, I'm just chilling, enjoying myself. So just
And
and I'm
the other thing too is that you are on your purpose. You are working on your part of it. And somebody said earlier about we romanticize love, and we always the end result. It's not always happily ever after. It's not. Some of the end result is you just working your path and learning to love yourself and to
mhm,
developing and practicing radical self love.
mhm,
Practicing radical self love to where if you have radical self love, no one can mistreat you because
yes,
you love yourself. And
yes,
so if I love me, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna let somebody come along and mistreat me. We don't do each other like that. Me, myself, and I, we do each other nice. But you come
mhm,
along and if you trying to treat me wrong, we don't do that. We
yep,
don't do that. Callie says trying to get their love, life, joy, true happiness, not just contentment. Yeah, exactly. And now there's a process to get there. Speaking of what Callie's talking about, and that is doing the intentional work and that alone time. For me, that was therapy. It was
mhm,
therapy. It was me I went to individual counseling. I went to group counseling. I went to men and women's co-ed counseling. I went to men's only. I went to church group because I was in church at the time. I went to secular counseling. I went to all those different places, and they all gave me a piece of who I should be, and it helped me put my life back together. So in that alone time, let's be intentional and actually do intentional work, not just
mhm,
sitting there. I was talking to somebody and she said, "Oh, I was single for 3 years. I didn't date. I didn't do anything." And then when she got back into the dating world, she picked the exact same person that she picked before. It was just a different face, a different name.
yep,
So it's don't sit home lighting candles and then think that that's healing. No,
yep,
there's more. There's more. There's intentional work where, and the reason I always push counseling and therapy because there's a level of accountability that you have to have.
yep,
If I'm just sitting at home, I don't and reading a book, that's cool. I get information, but I'm not truly accountable with that information. Now, if
mhm,
I'm talking to someone, they can call out things that I don't necessarily see.
mhm,
That's why I promote that. And then that's the accountability piece that a lot of times people are afraid of. But I want that. Like, show me where I'm messed. Oh, shoot. This is what's causing me mess. Oh, let me deal with that.
yep,
This is why I can't. Let me deal with that. My
mhm,
abusive, toxic behaviors is why I can't have a healthy relationship. Cool, got it. Let me deal with that.
mhm,
Let me deal with that. So, but the purpose part is very, very important. Someone says yes, she's on her purpose. You stay busy. Talk more about that counseling, Latoya. But any of us that's been to counseling and therapy, and you gotta find the right person, of course. And when I say right person, I don't mean someone that just co-signs that you're a good person. That's what we sometimes we look for. We just look for somebody. Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? No, no, no. Tell me where I'm messing up.
Yeah.
Help me identify the parts. I don't, I used to play college football, and then when you're at the level of athletics, you seek out your coach for where you're messing up. I'm like, coach, what can I do to be a better player? So we should have that attitude when we're going to counseling. What can I do to have a better life? Why
Mm-hmm.
are my relationships? Why do I keep getting the same toxic relationships over and over and over and over? And you want to know what your formula is, because we all have a formula that we've been using for our lives. How's that formula working out? Does it work for you? If it does, keep it. If it doesn't, you gotta adjust it.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So where you're at on your journey now. So okay, I'm about to share some. A lot of people don't. My girls know this, but the world don't. They're about to know. So I'm gonna ask you first. Well, on your journey, like your alone time and stuff, like right now, where are you at with that? Were you scared to get back out into the dating world? Like, how was it for you going back out there?
In the beginning, it was scary, and I ran into some bumps. I ran into some toxicity, and I didn't know exactly how to handle it, but I learned how to handle it. Like, oh, okay, this is what I got to do. This is how I have to manage. And then um, but then got to a place where I just removed myself from that. I'm not chasing anything. I'm working on me. I'm always working on me and working on my purpose. And then, when the time comes for the relationship to happen, it'll align. I trust that process. I don't have a dating profile on some dating account .com. Nope, nope. I'm not on, and that's just me. It's just me. It's on my own purpose. No shade against anybody that has that. But I already know what's out there. If I wanted to, I could grab a person and create a relationship. But will it be in alignment? Will it be? It's easy to find a relationship with anybody. Hey, you, come here, let's go. And all you gotta do is say the right words. Hey, marriage, God, family, and then here they go. Like, oh yeah, he likes marriage, he likes God, and he prays. And man, we married. Next you know, we married. And it's easy to do that, but again, is it alignment?
Yes.
And for me, like I said, it's been, the more you hear, oh, let me warn you guys this too. The more that you heal, the less people are going to be available to you.
That's my problem.
Yeah. You know why? As you fly higher, there are less birds that are able to fly high, to fly on that in that level of stratosphere. Like the eagle can fly way higher than most other birds, and but when you heal, you see things for what they are, and you see just how many people have unhealed trauma and issues that they're not working on, and that if you partner with this person, that stuff's gonna spill on you.
And I ain't got time for it. Mm-hmm.
That part, I'm Sweet Brown on that one. Ain't nobody got time for that. I've got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't. I don't have time. I've met some wonderful people, but I see the trauma, and I cannot partner with them because I don't want to take on that job. Because if I sign up with them, I'm co-signing that. Oh, I'm co-signing her alcohol addiction. I'm co-signing her whatever issues that she, unhealed daddy trauma. Or
Yep.
you're co-signing his sex addiction. You're
His mama
co-signing
issues.
his mama issue. Yeah, you co-sign. You like sign here. No, sir. Initial back. Make sure initial back too, because you about to get all of this. You that's what you sign up for, and that's why. If you don't know it, if you don't understand, if you don't know how to understand trauma and understand how people operate in it, then you'll sign up for it. You'll
Mm-hmm.
sign up for it, and thinking that, oh, I got a good one. Yeah, you got one, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the word is good. But
Yeah. Nope, you're
um,
right.
this journey has taught me a lot.
Yeah. But see, you got the lessons. A lot of people don't get the lessons. That's why they keep going back, getting held back because they're not getting a lesson. So, yeah, gotta get the lesson. So it is 7:55. We just run our mouth. I'm sorry, we just flew
We sure
time flew
did.
by.
We sure did. You know
Time
what?
is
We sure did.
You were
That's good
passionate.
though. This is my life. This is my life's work. This is my purpose. Is shedding light in these areas of darkness when it comes to abuse and relationships and toxic relationships, and then more importantly, when it comes to being healthy. Like that should be our goal. Like my goal is not marriage. My goal is healthy, happy, and peaceful life. If that includes marriage, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my goal is not relationship. My goal is healthy, happy, gratitude, and peace. I don't care how that served to me. I just need to have that with me. If that's in a
Mm-hmm.
marriage, excellent. If it's not, so be it. As long as I have peace, happiness, joy, and I get to live this life the way I'm supposed to, I'm good. Because I lived the first half of my life in toxicity. I'll be damned if I live another moment that way.
Amen.
Mm-mm.
I agree completely because I'm with you there. That's why I'm like, part of me is still scared. Because I'm one of those people. What Diamond say? Are men around you responsible to your healing journey and your perspective on women and relationships?
Absolutely. So what I do is that I work with men. I work with men in domestic violence. I work with men in anger management, and I do prevention work. So I talk to a lot of men. So men learn from men. That's a nuance of us. Y'all can say it 100 times. Y'all already know. You know we're like, oh, whatever. She said that, and it sucks. It's not a good thing, but it's just who we are. And I know that we learn from each other. So I use my position as a man to speak health and life to them in a way that they can receive it. I know how we listen. I know when we turn out. When we tune out. If you talking to us, we feel like you disrespecting us, we ain't listening. We're not listening. If there's a certain way to speak to us, and I speak that language to men, and every man I come across, any man that's around me knows this. They know that we have to raise ourselves. How we've been operating is not okay. Do not settle for that. Don't be scared of the term toxic masculinity. You get your draws all in a bunch every time somebody. No, it's real. It's true. Yeah, we got some stuff. Let's
Yep.
deal with it. Don't be acting like it ain't there. Like no, it's there. So we are receptive to it. And even and again, I work in the domestic violence field. I do a lot of work with the military. So I get a lot of men who are mad and upset, because they got a lot of misogyny, patriarchy. And so what I do is I gently break that down for them, and then let them know, hey, there's a different way. Let me show you this different way. So yes, they are. To your question, Diamond, they are responsive to the healing journey. Oh, that's another thing. When I tell them I went to therapy as a man, that gives them permission to go because we need permission from each other. We need to see other men that have done it. Like, because we like, man, that shit ain't gonna work. Like, nah, bro, hold on. Let me tell you about it. Let me be real with you. Let me keep it a buck with you. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It works. And your life will be better. All the drama you got, you managed your baby mama, you got child support, you got all you created all that, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You created that. You created your life. You don't like it, then change it.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, I'm a specialist at that point after working with the Marine Corps for a few years and learning how to work with men that are resistant to change,
Mm-hmm.
and then working in the domestic violence field. But I love it. I love it. I don't want to do nothing else. I love working with men.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
with
say
you. You got more questions? I can't see like on the bottom of my screen. How do you
I
get
got
to
it. It
the
says
point? Hmm?
no. Go ahead.
I was reading Raquel's question. She said, "How do you get to the point in therapy that you were able to be honest with the counselor to have the best results?"
I ain't paying this money to be lying. I ain't playing. I'm not playing. I'm not. And listen. And I say that. But when I went to therapy, I had reached the end of me. Like I can't do this no more. I can't.
Mhm.
Dude, I lost my family. I've been in jail. I'm an abusive, toxic man. Come on, man. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. So when you get to the place when you're end of you, my mother used to say this. My mother was on drugs for a little while. She said when she stopped, she just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you get sick and tired of your mess, and you get sick and tired of your life being a mess, that's when you go to counseling. You're like, look. And when I was there, I'm like, look, this is me. And counselors hear this stuff all the time. I ain't saying nothing new to them. They hear this stuff. They hear way worse stories than mine. So I'm like, look, this is my stuff. I don't know what to do with it, but I made it a point to be authentic because I can't change who I am if I'm faking when I'm in counseling. I've got to just get in there and be like, look, I'm struggling with this really, really hard thing that I don't want to say. And so the Japanese say you have three faces. The first face is the one that you show the world. The second face is the one that you show your family and close friends. And the third face is the one you show no one. But that's the truest reflection of who you are.
Yes.
When you go to therapy, you got to work on that third face. Those are the things that you carry shame about. Because when you're not being honest, there's shame attached to it.
Yep.
If you're lying, that's because shame is and shame is a paralyzing. That, man, I got no room for shame in my life. None. So whatever you're ashamed of, when you're in therapy, go deal with that. I'm ashamed that this happened to me when I was a kid. I'm ashamed that I did this. I'm ashamed. Whatever you're ashamed, shame is going to tell you where that work needs to be done. And then when you get there, you can be honest and just, and the honesty is going to lead you. And they say it, the truth will set you free. Honesty is going to free you. You're going to be lighter after that.
Yes. Now I want to say this. So Raquel said that. So you said this, that in order to go to counseling and heal and do all that stuff, you have to be doing it for yourself. So when people typically are going to counseling and lying and all that stuff, guarantee you they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it to manipulate their partner or to put on its front for other people. They're not doing it for themselves, because if they're doing it for themselves, they will be in there, like you said, showing that third face. So, but
and you bring up an excellent point. I don't do if I'm in a relationship with somebody and it's about to end and they're like, all right, I'll go to counseling so we won't break up. Nah, we're breaking up. Because the counseling work that you needed to do is going to take a couple years, and you should have done that already. I don't have a couple years for you to do all this. I ain't got again, I'm gonna quote the great Sweet Brown. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. You should have been done this work. I've been telling you all along to do this work, and now that I'm leaving, you want to do this work. That's a manipulation. That's a manipulation. You're being manipulated. If a man's doing that to you, you're being manipulated. If a woman's doing that to you, you're being manipulated. Because if they truly wanted to change, they would have done that work before. But they waited till you got all the way to the end, till you're bruised and battered, you're damn near half dead. Now they're like, all right, I see your leg hanging off, your eye hanging off. I guess I'll go. Nah, miss me. That's nah, I'm not. I got bronchitis.
Yes, I'm with
Ain't
you.
nobody got time for that.
But no, you're right, because I've been married twice. Okay, so for my second marriage, I begged my second husband to change some things, and then finally, when I was ready to go, he was like, "Okay, I'll change for real this time." Nah, homie, we're done. We're done. I said, because you knew what you were doing, because you said I'll change this time. Fuck you. So I was like, I was like, we're done. I mean, we've grown past that. But when you were saying that, I was like, ooh, because
it's true.
Mm-hmm.
People manipulate with that. It's not that they want to change. It's just they don't want you to leave.
Yep.
And they'll do, and I remember in my manipulative days when I was in that, and I was like, I would say whatever she wanted me to do. You want me to go see the lady on yeah, I'll be there to go see her. I don't even know the lady's name. Yeah, I'll go see her. You want to go on that vacation? Girl, I'm about to book that right now. What you want to eat? You want your favorite meal? You want that licorice? Yep, I got you. You want to go out here? Whatever to get her to not leave. Whatever. Now, in that moment, the motivation was not me changing, it was you not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to change. I don't want to change. I'm cool with how I am, but I don't want you to go, because then I got to be by myself. I can't have that,
Yep.
So what you're saying is dead on. That's 100% true. Any tip for women who perform DV work with men from a man's perspective who've been on both sides of the fence? I would say spend time, if you're a woman, spend time making sure that you understand men and our language and how we operate. Like that's one of my suggestions. What you learn in school is great, but I often hear this from like women who've had brothers, a lot of brothers, and they like men. You know how men operate. You know how they talk, how they how they move, that helps you. If men don't trust you, they're not listening to you. They have
Mm-hmm.
to trust you. You know, and some men get caught. Sometimes women will get caught up in the nuances of men, of how we talk, and it's like, okay, there's certain things that are out of bounds, and then there's certain things that are just like, he said a curse word. Yeah, that's kind of normal for us. Like, it's normal. So don't focus on those little things. Get him to trust you, and when he trusts you, he'll run through a brick wall for you.
Yep.
He's got to be able to trust you, and you build rapport with him. He's got to be able to trust you, and that's the only advice I would say. Um, but that again, some people and men don't care about our knowledge. Men that I work with, they don't care about my degrees. They don't care that I went to this. They don't care. They're like, "Are you cool? Can I trust you?"
Yep.
That is the biggest end for men. Can I trust you? And
Yeah.
if I could trust you, it doesn't matter if you got a PhD or you got an associate. It doesn't. You ain't got nothing. It don't matter. So that part is better. I know how you operate from the street. Yeah, street school. Yeah. But that's what I would suggest for any. Just being your authentic self. Whatever.
Uh-oh, what happened?
For a minute.
Uh-oh.
Okay. There we are. There we
Oh,
are.
no, you were saying operate as your authentic self, but it's a safe space. I call it a safe space. Be a safe space. If you can't be a safe space, then you've lost them. You have
That's
lost
it.
them. I wanted to ask you real quick because I know we run over time, but the thing I wanted to go back to this walking in your purpose. Um, a lot of times people get in relationships and they don't think about their purpose when they get in that relationship. Not everybody is built for this work. That's what I run into issues with too, is because I'm like you, I'm passionate about helping people heal, in dealing with domestic violence. She said, yet in my best friends were men for years because I grew up around more brothers and male cousins, and females who never were around males struggle to understand them.
Yes. They'd be like, "Oh, you guys are just pigs, or you're just perverts." Even that, just not understanding a male sexuality, what our sexual appetites are like. It's different from women. We don't.
Mhm.
We have different. Our appetites are like food. It's like food. Sex is like food to us. I need to eat. You know. And now, I mean, and in order for me
Let
to
me
get
wash my
that, I
brain
have
out
to.
now.
In order for men to get that, this is why men lie, because it's like we'll lie to eat. It's like I'm just trying to eat. Like I don't need all the rest. I just need to eat. Like
Y'all
that
like
that is a
vampires.
that's how our. But if you know who men are, and not saying that it's okay, but that's a lot of men's appetite. But we have to pretend like we're not like that so we can get with you, because
Hmm.
that for you, you'll be like, oh, you're just a pervert. No, I have a high sexual drive. I'm a man. That's my biology. And then there are women that are the same way. Women that are the same way. But learning the nuances of us as men, when you know that about us, you can help us to manage it. Like, okay, what do we do with that?
Hmm.
Um, but I'm sorry, you were about to say something before I said that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no,
Um,
you're fine. I cut you off a couple times too, so you're fine. But no, so I
okay.
was talking about like walking in your purpose. Like I know on my journey, the work I do, just being in a helping profession, period. And I am
Right.
very empathetic. It's I'm just a natural. I don't know. I just help people.
Empath. Yeah.
And it is crazy. But anyway, um, so for me, it's hard dating because people don't understand how I'm resilient with this. I call it long haulers. I'm in it for the long haul. Come on, girl. How many times you need me to come get you? Let's go. You want to the hot? I'm a long hauler. And so that there is like finding somebody that like because of my purpose. And it's like even with your purpose, that's a rough calling to have, helping people the way we help people, and then having your mate understand that that's what you're called to do. You still got to have boundaries
Yeah.
and all those things, but sometimes people's mates stop them from reaching their purpose or walking in their purpose. And that right there is
Oh
something
yeah.
that's important.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've been in relationships all my life. I'm like 0 for 8 right now. Like they all so clearly I don't. I mean, no, I say that because since I've discovered what my purpose is, relationship has become almost secondary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I know why I was created.
Yes.
I know why my feet are on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a reason. So I always tell people Jesus was single last time I checked.
Yeah.
He wasn't walking around here talking about his relationship. He was talking about what I'm supposed to do. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are a person of purpose, sometimes relationships will become difficult.
Yep.
It's a part of it unless you can find the alignment. If you find that, and there are a lot of people that have found the alignment in their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to be almost like-minded, like you said, to understand that. Or you can get someone that is not like-minded, who has no connection to what you're doing, but they genuinely love you and who you are. So whatever, and they'll just rock with that because they love you.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible. It's just finding that right person. They don't have to, when you say understand, sometimes they don't have to understand. All they need to do is love me and empathize with me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what that's like, but you know what? I'm here for you. You want a
Mm-hmm.
sandwich? What you need? Like, what you need? You thirsty? What you need? You need a back rub? What you need? That's
Mm-hmm.
all that's they don't have to understand, but they
Mm-hmm.
just need to. If they love you, they will be compassionate towards that. And sometimes, but I have to have a space where I can speak about it, and sometimes it may not be that person because they don't understand. I got to talk to like-minded people who will know what it is.
And that's
But
hard. That's hard to do this day and age because everybody is so focused on controlling other people and
oh
dominating instead
yeah,
of, are you suitable for my purpose? Yeah, and that's the thing that, yeah, so far,
oh
yeah.
no. Somebody said this real quick. No, go ahead, finish what you're saying, and I'll say it after that.
No, I was. You can go ahead. Go ahead. I lost the clock. Go ahead.
So when you say, "Are you suitable for my purpose?" and I said this before, I said that people are, they're like, oh, I wonder if my parents are going to approve of you, or if my friends are going to approve of you. Is my purpose going to approve of you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about my parents. Don't worry about them. I ain't worried about them. I ain't worried about my friends. Are you in alignment with what it is that I'm doing? And am I in alignment with what you're doing? Because it's not
Yeah.
a one-way street.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-way street. I have to be in alignment with what you're doing too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've come across some great individuals. We were just not in alignment. I've come across someone in fairly recently who great connection, great everything, but then it's like, oh, I want a family and babies. Huh?
You're like, I don't.
My kids grown. They grown. They grown. Like I got grown kids. They drive. They live on their own. I don't do day-to-day operations anymore, and I've done that. And I've been doing that since I was 17. And then
Yeah.
they frame it because they want it. They frame it like it's such a great thing. I'm like, yeah, you don't know who you talking to because you can't tell me that. But that's the alignment piece. It's not that she's a bad person. you know she's not a bad person for wanting that. It's just not suitable for what I need. I have to go and do my purpose. I can't be running around trying to find diapers and getting diaper bags ready. I can't do that. And I just
Mm-hmm.
that's not a part of where I'm at right now. um
Yep.
but but no shade on the person that wants that. And I've had to tell somebody. I think there's come on, there's dudes come a dime a dozen. You can just walk out this house and somebody will want to give you a baby. Like you already know. Like you're a beautiful woman. I'm just not, but I don't want to hold you and then be like, oh, maybe. No. You need, if that's what you want, I want you to have that.
Yep.
You know, but the purpose has to be, she said, are you suitable for my purpose? It's like, yeah, that part I really consider that. I consider that if I'm talking to someone, I have to find out, is this alignment?
Yeah.
Because if it's not, I'm not forcing it. We all know it. Everybody on here done forced something that shouldn't have been.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you know, we all got the story to tell about it too. Yeah, so
Yeah, we do. Nope, but you
no
nailed
more of
it.
that.
But that goes back to people looking past what their purpose, what they want, or what setting standards. Set your
Ooh.
standards. So it's like a lot
Mhm.
of people don't
Mhm.
set their standards because of all those things you named. It's like they're worried about whatever everybody else is saying, and or I'm getting old, or I don't belong, all those things. But set your standards and stick to them. And she said, Dom, you served your purpose on this show. You did a great job. Yes, you are.
Thank you, Latoya. I appreciate you, Latoya.
But
Thank you.
set your standards and stick to them. And I'm like you, don't come at me. No. And this gonna sound me. I don't date people with little kids. I'm sorry, my kids grown too. I can't. But that comes into
I,
having those hard conversations up front.
right.
Forget the
Right.
dinner. Let's talk on the fucking phone. Like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
I, that's funny because I'm the opposite. I actually would prefer someone who has kids, um, because that means she is focused on something else, and I don't need somebody all up under me all day, every day. Now go on with your kids. You got practice. Go, no problem. Go do what you got to do. Go do what you got. I love the fact because I have business to handle. I have things that I'm doing, and so the we got to be together every day life. That's not for me. It's not.
Mm.
It's out of alignment for me. I love that. Like no,
Out of
and I love
alignment
kids
for
anyway.
me.
I love kids anyway. So I mean you got a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old. That's cool. You got a 6-month-old baby. That's different. That's a little bit different. But somebody that has it, I have no problem with that. I actually would prefer that because you have a focus on something else, and then that way, I do believe in space in relationship where we have to. I would want someone who has their own purposes so that they can, and I can stand in the background and applaud her. Like, go ahead, girl, do your thing. You need me to do
Hmm.
something? You want me to do security? You want me to move chairs? Like, what do you want me to do? What you want me to do? Like, I can do something. Like, I can say something. But and I would love to do that as opposed to it just being me doing
Hmm.
everything and you just standing there.
Yep.
No, I want to see you were created too for something. What is it?
Yep.
What is it? I want to see that. I want you to get to yours. And if you around me, I'm gonna push you to yours. I'm gonna push you to yours. I don't want you just sitting at home. I don't subscribe to the traditional male misogynist stay home and just cook and do all. Man, please miss me with that. That woman
Yep.
was created with a purpose. Imagine, look at all the phenomenal women that we've come across through history. I always think about. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but Harriet Tubman. If that woman would just sat back and be like, "Oh, I can't do nothing because my husband said," man, please, no,
We'll still be in
no.
bondage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so and people like that, and I remember learning Sojourner Truth. I mean, all these women that have come across who operated, and it showed me, oh, they have purpose too. It's not just stand behind me.
Hmm.
No. And listen, if you are a woman that it feels comfortable with that, no shade to you. If that's what you want, but I'm talking about the ones that are told that that's what they have to do.
Hmm.
No, you can't do nothing but sit here and go on and be a baby factory. Really?
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you see her as? Nah.
Cooking and cleaning.
She could. Mm-mm. She could do way and you see. Look at our world. You see phenomenal women everywhere. And for me, it's not. And that's the thing in growth and in my growth. It's like you're not a threat to me. I'm not a threat to you. I celebrate your victory. But we have that scarcity mindset. Well, if she get more money than me, then she gonna leave. Okay, well, and then you know what? And I might need to be a better man then, so she won't leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, I mean, if I ain't making enough money, then I gotta make. And listen, and then if she does leave, that's okay too. That wasn't my person. That wasn't my person. And I don't want to
Yeah.
have to do all type of Jedi mind tricks and mental gymnastics to get you to stay with me.
Yes.
If you want to go, then I have to let you go. Blessings on you, love. Blessings on you.
He
You know,
said,
but
boss up. Yeah.
I'm home 50-50 and it work. And you know what? That's it. 50-50. And listen, whatever you and your partner agree to, I'm with that. If you agree that one of y'all stay, then y'all agree to it. I'm just talking about the ones in our culture as men, as black men, who are trying to subjugate women or suppress women.
Yep.
And it's like, women in general, black women are, I mean, it's phenomenal. And you trying to relegate them to this little menial task because of your damn ego? Come on, bro. Quit playing, man. Quit
Yes.
playing. Like, because you can't stand the fact that she might be great.
Mm-hmm. But that's why he
And
wanted her in
so
the first place, because she was great.
that part.
He saw her greatness, and then he was like, let me put her on the shelf so can't nobody else get that greatness because I'm selfish.
Ooh,
And
oh
then
my
I can't let
gosh.
her shine. And let me break
You
her
just,
down so that she won't ever leave. Oh,
you
just
said that.
mm.
You said that. You
I've
said
been there,
that.
done that.
The Ike Turner syndrome, where you
Yep.
know people will come into your life. This is men and women. They will see your shine. They will love your shine, and they will come, and then they will either try to take that shine for themselves. Well, you can't shine for nobody else but me.
Yep.
Or they will say, well, I don't like the shine because it's too bright in here. It was cute in the beginning, but I don't like it no more. I'm trying to rest, and it's too bright. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, and that's what people will do, and that's something I'm very aware of. When someone
Mm-hmm.
comes in and try to start changing me and trying to tell me that I need, no, 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 no. We not that. We don't do that here. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to shine as much as you can, and I'm a shine. When I mean shine, is that means walk in your purpose and do what you're called to do.
Yep.
You know,
Because your light
but
speaks for you. Like if that is what you're called to do, you don't have to do a song and dance. You just are. You just exist. Just be. And things just fall into place because God has already had that aligned for you. He just needed you to get there. And that's a lot of people don't want to get there.
And I remember in my lesser evolved days, being insecure about that. I remember being insecure. I was insecure. I was like, man, I don't want her shining because I deep down, I knew that I wasn't a good man and it was a threat that she was going to leave because I knew I wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wasn't good enough. And so I would actively try to keep her shine down.
Mm.
I don't want to see your shine. Don't be shining because somebody might see you and they might think that you're valuable. Think
Mm-hmm.
about how sick that is. That's
It
sick.
is sick.
That is that.
It is scary.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
I
so
live
many
like
men
that.
that think like that.
Not no more. And I don't want. You're not gonna take my shine, and I'm not taking yours. If anything, I'm gonna help you shine brighter. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
help you shine brighter, and that I'm going to add value to your life. And that's the role. We add value to each other. And we don't take away. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
you to add value. That's not a mandatory thing because I add enough value myself. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
add, cool. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be like, we didn't add no value this week, so you got to go. Nah, I'm not. That ain't it. Nah, we ain't doing that. But I know we over time. I'm sorry. Let me
No,
stop
no, no, you're
because I'll
fine. I
do
want
this
to
all
ask you
night.
one more question though,
Okay.
because
Okay.
so we know we know when with women when they heal, their kids heal, and they can heal relationships. With you healing, how did it help your relationship with your kids?
Phenomenally. It was a huge, huge deal. As a father, the power that I hold as a father, you know how we got the dad voice. Hey, what you doing in there? We hold so much power. When my sons did not like me during my toxic days,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they saw me change, they literally was like, this is who they wanted all along. So it was
Mm-hmm.
natural for them to gravitate towards me. They wouldn't talk to me before. Now we can talk about anything. We can talk
Oh.
about my abusive days. But it was a huge deal. And I remember going to therapy and then there was Monday Night Football and they was like, Pop, the game's coming on. We're gonna go to the game. I'm like, nah, I got therapy tonight. And they know how much I love football. And they immediately was like, what? And it was me setting a tone. I wasn't doing it I was just like, no, this is more important. I watch the game later. Like I got to go
Mm-hmm.
to this. And so it set the tone for them. So after my therapy, they went to therapy. They started going.
Mm.
I had a conversation recent. No, my. So this is another thing. If you've been in a toxic relationship, abusive or whatever, people always say narcissistic or whatever, your kids need therapy. They need therapy. Because if you were to get a Yelp review from them and tell them, hey, give me a Yelp review based on what you experienced, it would break your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It will break your heart with you. But we never asked that question to them. We just be
Mhm.
like, well, I moved on. I'm good now. But that kid is traumatized.
Yep.
You know, my kids gave me a Yelp review. I asked them about what they felt about their mom and I relationship after it was over. I was in some healing and I asked them. They thought they was in trouble. And then I was like, nah, y'all can speak. You ain't in trouble. And then they said, my son said to me, he was like, y'all suck. My other son was like, all y'all did was fight and argue. And then they said, we couldn't wait for y'all to get divorced. One of my
You
sons
said
said,
that too.
you see there? Are
Mhm.
watching. They study you. They are watching. So it's important that your relationships are healthy because you're teaching them what love looks like.
Yes.
And if you teach them that love is like you love each other, but then you're toxic towards each other, you're teaching them that's what it looks like.
Yes.
So me healing had a phenomenal impact on them. It was amazing. And it gave them permission to heal. Just like we watched my dad do this. And then when I did it, it sparked their mom to do it. She started her own healing journey.
That's
She started,
cool.
so they watched both of us. So we have a great co-parenting relationship at this point. Like when it comes to our kids, if there's something like we co-parent in a great way, but we don't fight. There are no arguments. If we have a disagreement, it's just like, okay, cool. I don't see it that way. No worries. Hey, you take care of yourself. Have a good night. There is no
Mhm.
issues. We don't have that. But they watch me heal, they watch her healed, and then they've done their journey in healing. And so now they're still living their lives. They're young. They're still going to make their mistakes, but they have a level of awareness that I didn't have at their age.
Mhm.
And they know my son went through. My 22-year-old went through a breakup recently. We were talking about it, and he's like, "Pop, I want to talk to you." So we talked. We talked about the breakup, and he's like, "I think I want to go back to." He said, "I think I want to go to therapy." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, who you want to see? You want to see John, Earl? Who you want to see?" And so just let me know. I'll cash out you the money, and then you go. I said, you want me to go with you? You want me to go with you? Or you want to go by yourself? He's like, no, I'll go by myself. I was like, if you need me, I'll go with you. Whatever. So I gave them permission. Most parents will tell the kid to go get therapy when the kids start acting out. Like, he need therapy. And then instead of saying, hey, let's go together,
Yep.
you go. You show them as the leader, as the parent. Let's be responsible for some of the stuff that's happened. I can't just look at my kids and be like, he's acting out. What's wrong with him?
Mhm.
Watching that toxic relationship is wrong with him. So,
Mhm.
um, in a nutshell, it was very, very powerful, and it actually provided a level of healing for our relationships. So I recommend that for every parent. Please go. If you think your kid needs to go, you might need to go too. And I say that respectfully.
Mhm.
Hmm.
No, I'm glad to hear that. That same with my kids, because my son is about to be 26, and he goes to therapy, and my oldest daughter is a therapist. So I mean, my
I
youngest
love it.
is, you know, so we all about healing, but it's so important because we broke them. Let's help fix them. So,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna get ready to close us out because we at 8:30. This
Thank you
was
for having
so
me on here.
great. I appreciate you. This was a great conversation. I ain't gonna lie, I know what to expect, but this
I
was
got you. I
awesome.
got you. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was an awesome
I,
conversation. So thank you so much for being on my show. I appreciate it.
And listen, I thank you all who were here and who were in the comments. I appreciate all those people being here as well. Thank you again. We will talk again soon. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm sure because I enjoy being on here too.
Okay, I would love to have you back. The girls, the crew, they would too. But I do want to share. So Dom's website is dwalltower.com. His TikTok is king.dom 1111. So that's his TikTok. And then his email is, what is that? imperlife@gmail.com. M
Yeah,
in
in per life.
her life. So
Hmm.
right there on the screen, guys. So if anybody wants to reach out to him, for he's a motivational speaker, he's an advocate, you guys, and he's a life coach too. So you guys can reach out if you would like services with Mr. Walltower. So thank you so much. And I'll go over my other spills later, guys, on the next show since
Hmm.
we're over
Hmm.
time. But thank
Hmm.
you. And I'll text you and we can connect. We can do this again, okay?
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this and walking in your purpose. Thank you for the journey that you're on. I appreciate your journey. I appreciate because I know you said where you come from. Thank you for that. And it's leading to this, and there's going to be greater things for you. So thank you for that, and have a good night,
Awesome.
okay?
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye, guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye.